On ESPN. Tonight from Champaign, Illinois, the Big Ten Conference season starts for these two teams, and we are excited about it. 6-0 undefeated, the Golden Gophers of Minnesota on the road to take on number 13, Illinois. Dave Fleming, Dan Dockich with you. Dan, Big Ten season is here. Should be a terrific year in this conference, maybe the best league in college basketball.
You know, I don't think there's any maybe. The Big 12 pretty good, but I think the Big 10 is by far the best league. Couple of players in this game helped make it the best league. Ayo Dosunmu did not go to the NBA. All he's done is be arguably the best guard in college basketball. He scores, he drives. Frankly, against Duke, he was a man amongst boys. He leads a team in Illinois that I think has national championship written all over it. And, oh, by the way, he's the third leading scorer in the country. Marcus Carr had to endure as a freshman an 0 for 18 Pitt team. Now, with Richard Pitino, he's sixth in the country in scoring. He makes all the decisions that Minnesota has to make late. And like Dosunmu, he is a great clutch player.
We got great guards. We got some big-time big men in this game, and the Big Ten Conference season is underway for Minnesota and Illinois. And a quick shot for the Golden Gophers. The Illini will have their first possession of the game. Right side three is good.
We talked to Brad Underwood today, and getting Adam Miller going, Mr. Basketball in Illinois last year, is huge. Getting him going early is something Brad said they had to do.
I think that would qualify. A little runner off the glass. Gabe Kalsher, who's not been shooting the ball particularly well. That's a good start for him.
Really good. He took it to the rim instead of settled for a three.
So here is Dosunmu. I think you can make a real good argument that he has been the best player in college basketball. Iowa fans might argue with me a little bit. Cockburn down low. Kofi Cockburn, the big sophomore, scores.
Kofi Cockburn can do that. Key in this game is going to be right here. Playing the ball screen, getting back to Robbins at the top of the key, or getting back to Robbins' roll.
Well, Robbins, who has that range, knocks down his first three.
He didn't get there. He dared a good shooter to shoot. You can't do it.
Liam Robbins, the transfer from Drake, he's going to be a big part of this Minnesota team this year. And now an Illini turnover.
Dave, that play right there, remember it. The Illini forced Dosunmu to the baseline. He's going to be at the top of the key. If he's on a wing, he wants to drive it into the middle. You have to make Dosunmu play along the baseline where you get an extra defender. Middle of the floor, he crushes you.
Kalsher down low once again. So that time his shot doesn't go. He's been active on the offensive end in this first minute plus of this game. The senior Trent Frazier's been around for a long time for the Illini. Played a lot of good basketball for them. Kicked it out. Cockburn against Robbins. A little shot fake, and he missed it. Got his own miss. Goes back up, draws a foul. Fourth year for Brad Underwood, and he has built this program to the point where, Dan, I agree with you. The aspirations for the Illini are not just Big Ten championship, it's national championship.
I think it is. And when Dosunmu and Kofi Cockburn came back and Adam Miller committed, that's the expectations. I got to give Brad credit, man. He told me he lost 50 pounds from walking, changing his diet. He said his daughter, who aspires to be a ESPN or CBS sideline reporter, showed him a video of him talking after a game, and she made fun of how many chins he had. So he said, I got to do something about it, and he's lost 50 pounds.
50 is a big number.
It might be 35 and his goal is 50. Let me go again. It's 35 and his goal was 50. I apologize. I just looked at my notes. I screwed that up.
All right, so 15. Wait till we see what he looks like after 15 more.
Yeah.
He's going to be invisible.
You can't even see him.
Well, free throw shooting, that will be a story here tonight. The Illini have not been a great free throw shooting team. Robbins tries another three. He's 2 for 2 from outside. That's a problem for Illinois.
Yeah, Dave, that's what I said. Kofi Cockburn has to play the ball screen. You got to respect Carr. And Robbins is just sitting there at the top of the key, and obviously he can make them. I don't know if he can make 3 or 4 in a row, but he can make 2 in a row. Sometimes it's good for a big to make them. I don't think it's good for Illinois that Robbins makes them.
Frazier's 3 with the Illini. 4-2, but 13th ranked in the country. Their losses to a very good, one of the best teams in the country, Baylor, and obviously a very good Missouri team on Sunday that didn't leave a good taste in the mouth for the Illini, hoping to bounce back tonight in the Big Ten opener against the Golden Gophers, who are 6-0. Their schedule's been much different than Illinois'. Carr passes up top, and that jumper banks in. Well, I don't know if that was the game plan, but it went through.
I know that was not the game plan. Eric Curry. I love Eric Curry, man. 3 knee surgeries, Liz Frank fracture, and he's still out here battling number 24, one of the great stories in college hoops.
I mean, there are a lot of players who would have quit with all the injury problems Eric Curry has had, and here he is banking in threes in the Big Ten opener for Minnesota in his senior year. Johnson, a tough runner. That one no good. Liam Robbins, 2 fouls for Minnesota. That's not great news for them. Cockburn also on the bench for the Illini, and Georgi Bishanishvili is in for the first time, number 15 down low.
This is a good matchup for Bishanishvili against Curry. Curry just threw him down, but it wouldn't hurt Illinois to throw the ball inside to Bishanishvili against Curry.
Gophers should have an advantage after coming up with that loose ball. Carr, runner, no good, and a blocking foul. Marcus Carr will shoot free throws. So that's a foul against Illinois. By the way, tomorrow, college basketball doubleheader on ESPN. How about Cade Cunningham and his start to his college career? Oklahoma State, they're 6-0 against TCU. That one at 7 Eastern as the Big 12 gets started. The ACC begins play. Duke and Notre Dame. Notre Dame had to hang on for dear life against Kentucky, but they beat Kentucky over the weekend. A Duke team that, I mean, Illinois, what they did to Duke at Cameron last week, Dan, was something.
Fans or no fans, I don't care. That's Mike Krzyzewski on the sideline. That's a bunch of McDonald's All-Americans, future pros. Bad news for Duke today. I saw Jalen Johnson is going to be out. He's a kid that probably their best all-around player. He's a foot injury. And see how Notre Dame can bounce back. Notre Dame's a veteran team, but really short-handed. That's going to be a good game, very good game, and I expect Duke will be just fine.
Booth Gotch comes out. First look tonight at Jamal Mashburn Jr. You recognize the name, the son of the Kentucky great, played for Rick Pitino. Jamal's dad did. Now he's playing for Richard Pitino at Minnesota. Way off the mark, that jump shot. 16-8. A great start for Richard Pitino's team.
This is a bit of an energy lineup, Dave. You've got Williams, number 1. You've got Mashburn out there, number 4. Johnson. These are guys that really turned the game around against Boston College when they were getting beat 15 with just energy.
Yeah, they were. Mashburn's a good shooter. He missed his first one there. Dosunmu, great shot fake, goes right to the rim.
Yeah, you cannot leave your feet. Williams left his feet to shoot. Dosunmu did a great job of showing the basketball, not his head, the ball.
Baseline jumper, that one's no good for Johnson. Here's Bishanishvili. He draws a foul.
Yeah, you got to throw it to him. Look, watch the ball come up, rear end, stay down. Boom! Just show the ball a little bit, and you don't have to get even a little bit off balance like Williams did, and Dosunmu's going to blow by you.
Coming off a career-high 36-point performance. He has just been spectacular. I mean, the bar is very high. One of the best players in the Big Ten the last couple of years, but his game is at a whole different level right now, I think.
I think he's the best guard in the country. I mean, Dave, what he has done, really very, very few people do. 20 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, 5 assists a game. I mean, people, the people that, I'm sorry, over 7 rebounds a game. The people that do that, Penny Hardaway, Ricky Menard from Morehead State, and Evan Turner, the player of the year. I mean, the dude is the best guard in America to this point.
Yeah, that's good company. Shooting the ball great. He can pass. He can rebound. He's just gotten better and better. Carr had his shot partially deflected, but they called a foul.
You know what's great about Dosunmu, too? You know his favorite restaurant is, you won't know this, but people in the Midwest, Portillo's. Portillo's is a legendary hot dog place.
You think I don't know what Portillo's is?
Yeah.
What do you think I do? Just sit around my house and never go anywhere? I live a little, Dan.
As soon as I saw his favorite restaurant was Portillo's, I'm like, my guy.
See, Brad can't eat that anymore.
No.
That's the problem for Brad Underwood. His guy wants to eat Portillo's. He can't eat it.
No, you got to eat fish and chicken and omega-3.
Checking into the line, Cockburn.
Sure.
Yeah. Cod liver oil in the morning.
Uh-huh. Already 7 for Marcus Carr, making 8 for one of the top scorers in the country.
You know, this interesting lineup right here. You're down 8. You have really 10 points in 6.5 minutes. Not great. You know, this is a time when I don't think he's on the floor right now, but Frazier would need to step up. Williams would need to step up. Okay? Corbello, the freshman, he stepped up there.
How about Andre Corbello?
Yeah, he can step up too as long as he doesn't throw the ball away. That's the only thing holding him back. But I think he's a terrific player. But somebody's got to get going here besides DeSumo.
Shooting 2.
So Andre at the line. The Illini, who didn't shoot the ball well at the line against Missouri, and Corbello was part of that. He was, what, 2 for 6 against the Tigers on Saturday. Tonight, before that one, Illinois 1 for 6 at the start of this game.
I thought it was interesting when we were talking to Brad Underwood today. He said he feels like his team wasn't mentally ready to play. And in one of the areas it showed up, he felt was free throw shooting. I've really not heard a coach say that.
Maybe just a little lack of concentration. And really, it cost Illinois that game. Missouri's good, but if Illinois makes its free throws, they win that game. Here's a 3, top of the key. That one too strong. Long rebound comes out to Kalsher. That one way too strong. Some ugly misses the last minute or so for the Gophers. Corbello, what a spin move. And then dish to his teammate Cockburn, who dunks it home. My goodness.
Hey, I mentioned everybody but Corbello. He's the guy that stood up here. You know what I love about this, Dave? Watch how quick Cockburn gets up. Boom! I mean, it's slow motion. You couldn't tell. It was quick.
Cockburn from the freshman Corbello to make it 18-14 Minnesota. 12:44 to go. First half, first game of the Big Ten season for these two teams. Number 13 Illinois. Minnesota's not ranked, but undefeated 6-0. If the Gophers win this game, Dan, I think they would probably enter the top 25.
I don't think there's any question. There's 7 teams in the Big Ten in the top 25. Minnesota wins this. Well, he looks great. Kalsher does shooting the ball. And he's only shooting 16%. How
They're
quick
just
is
not
that?
going in. And meanwhile, you miss a 3, and DeSumo, you blink, and he's got a bucket at the other end. Booth Gotch, the transfer from Utah, no good. Minnesota's 0 for their last 7. Shot fake for the freshman Hawkins. Over the top, Cockburn, catch and score.
Man, kids out there that are playing in the post, catch the basketball as a big guy, keep it, your elbows under it, and go up quick and with your best jump. Cockburn was off balance, still made the best jump he could for the balance that he had.
Gosh, you could tell that one was off the mark right from the release.
3 shots in a row, too quick, and it's cost them. We got a tie game because of it.
So as well as Minnesota was playing, all of a sudden here, Illinois has evened it up. That shot came up way short. Now maybe 3 on 2, and quickly into the front court, but Gotch missed it.
Great hustle.
Good hustle play,
great hustle.
bit of travel.
Timeout on the floor.
So that's a timeout in Champaign. On a night where the Big Ten season begins, some basketball history perhaps to be made tonight. We'll talk about that when we come back. 1,098 wins, Tara, and #1 Stanford going to try to get 1,099. Gino, he and UConn, they're playing, I think, right now. So that's going to be a back-and-forth race. I think, Dan, it's pretty cool when you're a coach and you have a chance for any sort of history like that. But not only that, when you have the #1 team in the country to do it with, Tara Vanderveer and Stanford #1 at the moment.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but she took a year off to coach the United States national team as well. And she's one of the great people in basketball, an Indiana University grad. And to get a job, she sent resumes to everyone. Ohio State coach remembered her as a player and gave her a job, and the rest is history, man.
Two-time NCAA champion, that Olympic gold medal that you were referencing, and she did. She missed a full year of college hoops. She'd have even more wins. She'd have the record already if she hadn't done that for her country. 4-time NCAA Coach of the Year. Quick three for Minnesota. And now a whistle and a pushing foul against the Gophers. 18-18, 10:35 to go from Champaign, Illinois. Big Ten opener on both sides. Anyway, that game follows us, and I can't wait to watch and see if Tara and Stanford can make some history. How about, did you see her player this weekend, Fran Belibi, I think is how you say her name. My apologies if not. She dunked for Stanford.
I did. Did you say Tara Vanderveer celebrates by walking her dogs and playing the piano in the dark?
You know, Tara is not, you know, she's not a real attention hog. She doesn't like the spotlight. She loves her dog. She walks around her neighborhood. She plays the piano. She doesn't want a lot of credit or accolades or people asking her to talk about herself. She doesn't. Cockburn with the swat.
Both ends, Cockburn.
Tasumu, just so hard to stop him. Cockburn grabs the offensive rebound, and he's going up with it to score.
Dave, that's so good because of his patience. So many big guys get impatient. If we run that back, he holds it, clears out space, gets his left shoulder turned to the rim, or excuse me, his right shoulder turned to the rim on the jump hook. That is so good for you kids to watch and clip.
It was 18-10 Minnesota. It's a 12-0 run and a chance for more for the Illini here.
About 6 straight terrible shots for Minnesota.
Maybe more.
Throw it to him.
There he is. He is feeling it right now.
This is abuse. He is abusing Eric Curry. You said it when he went out. Robbins going out on both ends, Dave, was really, really big. 6 of 7, 13 for Cockburn.
It's totally changed Minnesota's offense, and it's obviously impacted their defense because Cockburn has taken over. Curry open. This time didn't bank it in. It goes down clean.
That was huge. Boy, you felt like they were reeling. That's really the first step into a good look that Minnesota has had since it was 18-10. I like everything about Kofi Cockburn. In fact, I said last year I think he'd have been a first-round draft choice in this draft. But watch what he does here. Swats it, goes, finds it, digs it out, and then on the other end he follows. Watch this. He takes his time. See how he holds it up? And then he turns his right shoulder. He doesn't shoot it over his head. Watch his right shoulder turn towards the basket. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the baseline move. That was a heck of a move. So he goes left shoulder for the jump hook, right shoulder for the jump shot. That's a first-round draft choice, people, at 7 foot 290.
I mean, 6 of 7 from the field. And to your point, I mean, we've seen left hand, we've seen right hand, we've seen going both directions, we've seen lob dunks, we've seen finishes through double teams. We've spent 11 minutes of this game.
And it all started when Robbins went out, because he's more. I know that Curry has hit a couple threes, that's fine, but he's gotten comfortable in the game when Robbins went out. Robbins longer, taller.
Minnesota needs something from the guy who's got the ball in his hands right now. Booth Gotch is a good player. He's been real quiet at the start of this game. Carr against Frazier. Found Curry. Another 3 try. Curbelo so quick into the lane, almost lost it. Yeah.
He just turned it over the previous time, trying to lob it from the side. Got real lucky, and then again, where are you going? Great defense by Minnesota.
Yeah, the freshman Adam Miller got rejected. a foul. That one against Hawkins.
Illinois, number 30.
So that brings us to another timeout from Champaign. Brad Underwood's going to bark at somebody for the next couple minutes. His Illini, though, have a 3-point lead.
The preseason wooden watch list, there's 50 total. So 1 in 5 comes from the Big Ten. But I got to tell you, when you look up and down, Wisconsin is probably the most experienced team. Michigan, I just think, has been terrific early. Don't sleep on Penn State. I mean, Penn State has had big wins. It's the best I've seen the league in a while. And I'm not going to say it's the best ever. 89 was as good as I've ever seen. But this is pretty good. There's your watch list.
Bishanishvili with the left hand. That was a nice move by him. He didn't even start for this Illinois team. I think you can make all the star power in this league, but right now, who's playing better than DeSumo and Luka Garza? I mean, maybe the two best players in the country.
I'm nodding my head off camera because I don't think there's a guard better than DeSumo, and I don't think there's a big guy better than Garza. Garza the other night had 34 in 17 minutes. He wrapped up 21 straight points against Iowa State. I mean, nobody works harder than him. Nobody has worked in the offseason harder than him with his dad, Frank. And I'll say the same thing about DeSumo. I see such growth in DeSumo. He was a man among boys at Duke.
Yeah, you and I have seen a lot of DeSumo over the last couple of years. And I thought, well, this guy's a really good player. But to me, it's a different player this year. He's just taken it to a much higher level. Frazier misses a 3.
Frazier's the guy that I think really needs to get going. He's a 10, 12, 15-point-a-game scorer, big shot maker against Wisconsin 2 years ago. He's made big shots his whole career, good defender.
Marcus Carr just trying to find some room. That was good defense by Frazier. Frazier, the lefty, got knocked down out of bounds off of Minnesota.
This is just squaring your shoulders right here, moving your feet. His feet, look at the base. Don't watch the ball, watch his feet. He just keeps them moving, and it forces Carr to shoot over him, not around him. And that makes it far more difficult.
Cockburn in for the Illini.
Well, Trent Frazier, he was around for some leaner years at Illinois, and he has stuck around as his teammates have gotten more and more talented. Brad Underwood has built this program to the point where they are 4-2, still in the top 15, even with a couple early season losses. Jamal Mashburn Jr. will check back in. Booth Gotch goes to the bench. Booth Gotch, who's been really good for Richard Pitino so far this year, 0 for 5 at the start of this game.
I don't think he's yet, with Minnesota, understood the size advantage he has, Gotch. He's a big kid, man, and he doesn't play like a big kid. He plays like a little guard.
DeSumo got his own miss and couldn't finish, but that's a tip in from DeMonte Williams.
Yeah, and for Minnesota, like literally nobody, Mashburn, Carr, Einen, they just stood and watched 2 offensive rebounds and literally didn't jump.
Look how ugly those shooting numbers have got. Minnesota started this game hot. They're 1 for their last 18.
Well, they haven't taken very good shots. No, it's not. And Miller took a bad shot there.
Carr, not a good pass. Frazier, great bounce pass. DeSumo lays it in.
(20-3) run.
Yikes.
That's what bad shots against a good team will lead to.
That one top of the key, no good. I mean, it's not great shots. It's the wrong guys shooting them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between the ones Robbins and Curry were shooting. There was nobody within 6-8 feet. That one there by Einen, he just jacked it up with a guy sprinting at him.
Down low, Cockburn, who just checked back in. He got fouled by Enan from behind.
See, I was watching that. That should not have been a foul.
Yeah, well, we can get back to that. First, though, a reminder that on Thursday, 9 Eastern, NBA preseason NorCal style, the Warriors and the Kings. Steph Curry's back. Always fun when you get to watch Steph on the court. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ESPN, on the ESPN app, on ESPN Deportes as well. Well, Richard Pitino just can't wait anymore, Kenny. Liam Robbins, 2 quick fouls, and they've been a much worse team with him off the floor, so he's getting ready to come back in. Cockburn earns the second free throw. Here comes Robbins.
I don't understand. I really don't. Basketball's changed to where 2 fouls and you automatically have to sit. I honestly don't get that. I think that a veteran player, and Robbins is a veteran player, should be able to handle playing aggressively, but not fouling. And coaches now, as soon as you get 2 fouls, you got to sit the rest of the half. I just disagree with that.
Pitino he just can't wait anymore. Minnesota has suffered so much with him off the floor. Cockburn makes both free throws. That's a good sign for the Illini. The run is up to 22-3. Gotch back in. Got cut off by Dosunmu. Pull up. Mashburn hits it.
Man, I'm a big fan of Jamal Mashburn Jr. That kid is fearless. He just stopped perfectly at the free throw line before Cockburn could get to him.
His dad could shoot. He could shoot.
Well, his dad was a bad man.
That over back? It is. Turnover.
This is so smart. Ball screen. He's forced kind of to his left. He waits, sees Cockburn, measures him, and smart enough to jump up and knock it in.
I mean, his dad was what? The biggest difference is size. I mean, Jamal Mashburn Jr., big-time recruit. His dad was just a great, all-time great Kentucky player. Played for Rick Pitino, of course. Now his kid's playing for Richard. His dad, what was his dad, 6'8"?
They said he was 6'8". I remember standing next to him, 6'6"-ish, maybe a little bit more than that, but, I mean, could do everything. And Coach Pitino, Sr., had him, I mean, working relentless, people told me, on his guy. I think he was the first guy when Rick Pitino Sr. went back to Kentucky to rebuild the program. I think he and Andre Riddick were the 2 first New York guys to come play for Coach Pitino.
First team All-American, top 5 overall draft pick, played 12 years in the NBA, was an All-Star. And his kid's a good player. Robbins had it go right through his hands. Yeah, I think so too. To the basket, kind of a wild shot, and it was an air ball, never hit the rim. That's a shot clock violation.
Yeah, he just put his head down. He got stuck with it on high, Mashburn did, and did what he could do, which is take it to the rim. And actually opened up the backboard for Einen there, and Einen got off balance.
Got to get the mask on, Richard, if you're going to start yelling.
My favorite thing is keep the mask on when you're away from people, but when you get next to people, pull the mask down so you can yell and spit on them. That does not make sense.
A lot about the world doesn't make sense right now. So I think are they checking to see did the ball hit the rim? What's Coach Pitino upset about? I think that's it. They're going to sort it out while we take our break. We'll be back right after this.
Encouraging news regarding the health of Florida star Keontae Johnson. Fonz, what's happened in Minnesota here?
When Minnesota was up 8, they were reversing the basketball, attacking the weak side of the floor, taking good shots. Since then, they've not reversed the basketball, and they're taking poor shots. That's why they're down, Seth.
Yeah, Illinois 11-0 in transition baskets. Your defensive transitions connected to your shot selection. Dan Dockage, didn't we talk about that on the world's greatest podcast today?
You did. Courtside with Greenberg and Dockage, which, by the way, is out right now on ESPN Podcast. That is among the things we talked about, along with, well, Mr. Connor's love of Dolezaj for Syracuse. And, you know, why not love Dolezaj for Syracuse?
Are you going to talk about Kofi Cockburn your next episode,
yes.
Please?
I think Kofi Cockburn is having an All-American day right now on both ends, Dave. He got feeling it early, and he has dominated this ball game.
He's going back to the free throw line. I think he got challenged a little bit by his head coach coming into this game after what happened this weekend against Missouri. It's not like he played terribly.
He didn't play well. He really did. And the whole team in their mind. Now, I will say this. We also talked about in an SEC preview that Missouri's pretty good. I mean, Missouri will guard you. They play just like Conzo Martin is as a human being, just tough, relentless. But Kofi Cockburn did not play well in that game at all.
Missouri have a chance to win the SEC this year?
I think they do. I mean, you know, Kentucky doesn't look very good. Auburn doesn't look very good. I'm just going with teams that have won it. West Virginia, pretty daggone good.
Well, did West Virginia move to the SEC?
I thought they did. No? Were they in the Big 12?
Yeah, they're in the Big 12.
I get confused.
Yeah. It's a varied landscape out there, Dan. There's a lot going on. Foul against the Illini. Speaking of the Big 12, TCU, Oklahoma State. Maybe I missed some big news. That would be big news that I missed. 7 Eastern tomorrow on ESPN, streaming live on the ESPN app. The ACC is going to get going. Number 21, Duke. Duke's got some problems themselves. Notre Dame beat Kentucky this weekend. That one's at 9 Eastern tomorrow, Wednesday.
Hey, I don't know who's doing these college football playoff rankings, but they're nuts. Indiana's 6-1. Florida's throwing shoes all over the place. Can't beat a bad LSU team. And they go down one spot. They're still ahead of Indiana. This is ridiculous. Indiana in 11th. That's enough.
Yeah, and you know, even though you are an alum, and even though you may have a rooting interest in that, you are not wrong about that.
No.
You're not wrong. Indiana could have beaten Ohio State. That's their only loss.
Everybody in the world's going to kill me on Twitter. Feel free. Indiana was better than Ohio State in that game. They made 2 huge mistakes inside the 20 with fumbles and lost the game by 7 and had the ball to win twice. They were a better team.
That'll be on the next podcast episode, too. Terrible pass, by the way, but speaking of turnovers, Booth Gotch has got to play much better for Minnesota. This has been a nightmare game for him. He also just got beat bad by Trent Frazier, who's going to go to the line.
Dave, he came out faking it. Gotch did. He came out with high hands on the shooter, Frazier, but he wasn't really competing. He just came out, raised his hands, and Frazier looked at him like, well, I know you're faking it, and he just went right past him. You come out on a shooter low, short. When you're longer, you got your high hands, your rear end's low. He totally came out as a fraud on Frazier right there.
And I'm being hard on him in this first half, but that's because he's a good player. He's had a good start to his Minnesota career. Transfer, started 25 games for Utah last year, made some big shots for them. Cockburn goes to the bench here.
Dave, he is long, athletic, fast, good first step, number 11 is. He could keep Frazier in front of him, but he's not here tonight. He's not where he needs to be, and he's going to have to get straightened out at halftime and have a big second half.
Has not scored a point. He shoots there and comes up way short. Frazier jumps into a 3. Good!
Enan came out real and made Frazier step back. Unfortunately for Enan, that's Frazier's favorite shot, right side.
Yeah, and I called it a 3. His foot was on the line, so they rightly ruled that a 2. That was not a very good shot for Illinois. Sumu got back on defense. Gotch had it poked away. I thought. Did he just lose it? I guess he just lost it.
Again, he is. I'm not going to belabor it any more than this. Gotch needs to get straightened out at halftime by 2 groups. 1, the coaches, and 2, the players. Yeah, I don't know about that. Sometimes you got to go the other way and demand more of your teammates.
Instead, his teammate thought he needed a hug.
His teammate would know. I'm just a guy in a basement.
Under 2 minutes to go in Champaign. Carr down the lane. Marcus Carr got off to a quick start. He's been pretty quiet. Found Curry cutting to the basket, and then Curry had it stripped away.
Curry just 2 years ago, before all these injuries, he would have got up, got his hand on the backboard, probably laid that in or gotten fouled. I love this kid. I love his heart, but he just, too many injuries to jump up and make that kind of play.
2 major knee injuries, a big-time foot injury. Kalsher, the three-point shots for him just still are not going down.
Look good doing it. I'd tell him to keep shooting.
Yep. They need his offense. Frazier, another one of those shots that he likes. He made another one.
See, that time they played great defense on Dosunmu, made him go to the baseline, had nowhere to go, found Frazier, and that's a layup for Frazier right side in the corner.
Carr one-on-one against one of the better defenders in the Big Ten, Williams, and Carr scores anyway.
You know what? What does Mark Jackson say? Good defense, better offense. That's what you saw right there.
Marcus Carr came to play tonight, 10-4-4 in this first half. Timeout Illini.
Good players in the middle of the floor. We've been talking about it with Dosunmu. Watch this. Now, this is really good defense. Oh, man, Williams is moving his feet, showing his hands, and Carr just got it to go. Baseline's your friend, except when the baseline shooter is Frazier. He is automatic right side on the baseline. Our boss, David Seisler, just announced that Bob Huggins has been named Coach of the Year in the Pac-12.
Huggy Bear is going to be so thrilled to find out that his team's changed conferences. He's winning awards. Man,
his team's good. I did 300 games out in South Dakota, and I'll tell you what, they play hard. This Culver kid, Derek Culver's a walking double-double. He is tough on tough, and you know what he does? He does what he does. He's not a big guy trying to go outside. West Virginia's national championship good.
Yeah, kind of old school Bob Huggins style basketball.
Yep.
All's right in the college basketball world when Bob Huggins' teams are flying around the court, tossing people into the first row, playing tough, snarling at everybody. Dosunmu, meanwhile, another aggressive play on the offensive end for him, but offensive foul.
Yeah, if you're going to get him going downhill, you got to have somebody willing to step in there and take a charge, and Minnesota had that guy. It's pretty good defense. Dosunmu, nice set out of the timeout. You're going to see he's downhill, and there's my guy Curry. And he's my guy. I just love guys that don't quit. Don't opt out or whatever the words are. Just battle and play.
He's everybody's guy, isn't he? Who is not rooting for Curry?
I agree.
With all that he's been through.
But Liz Frank is a terrible injury. He's had knee injuries, Dave.
More of a football injury. We just saw a college team go 2 for 1, which I don't think happens enough. But Minnesota went real fast, and they're going to get the ball back. They should.
2 things I don't think have translated from the NBA. I'll tell you what has translated. Putting the towel over your head on the bench or putting the towel on your legs. That's a big NBA move that went to college. 2 for 1. And fouling in the open court to stop a fast break. Those 2 things, if I went back into coaching, we would do those 2 things, because those 2 things stop momentum a lot of times, particularly the transition foul.
Well, maybe Minnesota a little push here at the end of the first half, just to kind of, Illinois was dominating this game for the middle part and most really of this first half. Lead is 11. Andre Curbelo, freshman from Puerto Rico, with the ball in his hands. Curbelo weaving through traffic. Fellow freshman Miller launches. Air ball. 7.5 seconds for Minnesota to get a shot.
A freshman, sophomore, I don't care. You got to be smart enough to know when you drive it at Frazier, you give him the ball. He's just ripped 2 threes, Dave. And instead he went the other way. Yeah, he was. He went the other way. That's killing Curbelo.
Carr thought about the 3 instead. Tough shot, no good. And that one I don't think was off in time anyway. Didn't go. So that'll do it for the first half. Number 13 Illinois with a 40-29 lead after Minnesota had the quick start. It was all Illini after that. They did it on the break and they did it in the paint. the numbers.
Kid for Minnesota, and Kofi Cockburn took over.
16 points, 6 of 8 from the field. The rest of the Illini with 24 points and just 9 of 25 shooting. Marcus Carr played well for the Gophers, but Cockburn's the biggest reason why Illinois is just totally dominating inside. 22-2 advantage in the paint for the 13th ranked team in the country, who has the ball first to start the second half. Williams got lucky to find Dosunmu, but it went off of Dosunmu and out of bounds.
That's smart. Minnesota did a good job. They kept Williams on the baseline. Dosunmu tried to cut, but off balance, Williams threw it off his knee.
Now a whistle away from the ball.
Hey, I'm anxious to see how number 11, Booth Gotch, comes out. Hey, all that loving on your teammate isn't national championship good. Like, if Richard Pitino and his staff and even some of the other players didn't light him up, here he goes. There you go. I don't care if you miss him. That's what Booth Gotch has to do. You can't be hugging your teammate when he's killing you. You got to rip your teammate and get him better.
Cockburn draws another foul. Is that one going to be against Robbins? I don't know.
That kid is good, really good, but he has not played well. And sometimes your teammates, I know we're all in an era where we got to love each other and stay positive. No, that's not how champions win. Champions are player-run teams. And if you're not playing as you should be playing, it is incumbent on the players as well as the coaches to get you playing. And I liked what I saw right there out of Gotch going to the rim to start. That's huge in this game.
Foul, by the way, was on Kalsher, not on Robbins. That's good news for Minnesota. Don't you, when you see that, the first possession, Gotch as aggressive as he was, even though he missed a shot, don't you think he did get challenged at halftime?
Oh, no question. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, in an era where, if you say a crossword to a player, he transfers and there's probably a lawsuit, I guarantee you that I would hope the players ripped him, but I guarantee you the coaches challenged him, no question.
Carr, who has played pretty well, on pace to get to his average. Robbins was real good in the limited minutes he was out there. Kalsher for 3, short. Offensive rebound to Carr, open for a 3, and that one no good. Some of those shots are going to have to go down for Minnesota.
Those are good shots. Kalsher, good shot. He's just not making any shots this year. And then Carr, look, he's got an ultimate green light.
Unbelievable. I mean, Kalsher is a good shooter. He's 4 for 28 on the season. Robbins with the shot block and saves it off of Cockburn. That was a pretty nice play by the big man.
It was great on 2 levels. The ball was forced to the baseline. I've been preaching it all day. It enables help to come. Robbins came, blocked it, hustled, threw it off the Illinois defender. Great play by that kid.
So now can the Golden Gophers start to knock down some shots and maybe get some offense from Booth Gotch, who has still not scored.
I'm a big Frazier fan. Trent Frazier, to me, he was all over Marcus Carr there, forced the ball out of bounds, so it's an uncomfortable set.
I like a guy, Frazier. Carr bricked, Cockburn rebound. I mean, early in his career, even as a freshman, there were lots of nights where Trent Frazier was the #1 offensive option for Illinois.
Absolutely.
He is
Big D.
He is really not close to that now, but he's still got a big-time role as Cockburn stuffs it home.
Kofi Cockburn does what every young big kid should do. Get it, best jump at the rim. In Cockburn's case, he can dunk it with his ear. Even if you can't hardly jump, doesn't matter. Give it your best jump.
He stuffs another shot at the rim on this end. Loose ball.
Well, this is pretty good. High-low, so there's no help. When the ball is at the top of the key, it spreads the defense, and I'm telling you, this is a great pass. Only Cockburn can get it, and he does what he does, which is attack the glass in the rim.
There are a lot of good big men in the Big Ten again this year. Can you imagine the matchups this season? Hopefully we get to see as many of them as we can with Luka Garza and that guy.
Look at Garza, that guy. Trace Jackson-Davis has been great so far.
Really good.
That's big for Kalsher. He needs to see the ball go into the basket.
It just is remarkable. I mean, Gabe Kalsher has been a good shooter. As you say, it still looks good. It always looks good. And the shots are just not going. At some point, he's going to get hot from the outside. He's just too good of a shooter.
Yeah, I like about him, he's serious, according to Richard Pitino, about other aspects of his game. Driving there, defending. You know, we asked who's going to guard Dosunmu, and he immediately said Kalsher. So, you know, I believe it will come. 16% will become 35%, I believe, by the end of the year for that kid. He's too nice a stroke.
And Richard Pitino called him probably our best defensive player, which I thought was high praise.
Well, he's got Dosunmu.
Frazier pull up too strong. Can Minnesota get back in this game? They had the early lead. Gotch, a blocking foul.
Yeah, good for Gotch. We said earlier in the game he was playing like a little guy. He's 6'7", 6'8", and he gets a little guy on him, so he just goes and backs him down. And that's a flop, and that's a good no-charge call.
Yeah,
I think if he plays to his size, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I was just going to say, not only is that a good no-charge call, you got to call that a block.
Absolutely.
That's a good call. So finish your point about Booth.
Well, I just think he needs to play to his size.
That was a good pass, and the lay-in goes down for Enan.
They took advantage of the defense overplaying, made the extra pass, everything going to the rim. That's Minnesota basketball.
How can the Gophers stop this guy on this end? One-on-one against Robbins. Cockburn, no.
Great defense by Robbins. He made Cockburn shoot over him.
That one in and out, no good. Here comes Dosunmu and the Illini one-on-one. Dosunmu, just so hard to stop that.
Pete Newell told me one time, Dave, the legendary Olympic and California coach, he told me one time, he said, great guards in traffic make the defender disappear. What he meant by that is they're the only guy jumping. And that time you saw with Dosunmu. Kalsher was back. Only guy that jumped was guess who? Dosunmu.
Air ball.
This is fast. I mean, this is just bad luck for Carr. And then this is just an elite basketball player / athletic phenomenon going to the rim.
Is he the best in the country? In that situation, who's better than Ayo Dosunmu?
Look, I'm not going to pretend to have seen every team in the country.
Yeah.
But nobody's better than him. I don't care. Nobody's better than that kid. Jeez.
Only player averaging 25 and 5. Dosunmu kicks out for Frazier, his teammate, who took one sidestep and missed the three. There's Carr against Dosunmu, who cut him off. Johnson drives, heaved one up. I think he's going to shoot free throws. So that'll send us to a timeout from Champaign, Illinois, with a 46-33 second half lead.
Against Michigan State as a freshman to win the game. He's clutch, and he's elevated his game. I think this is the best guard in the country. In fact, I would go as far as say, by coming back at this point, he's worked himself into a top 5 NBA draft choice. In the open floor, he is absolutely dynamite. He shoots it, he's clutch, he'll get in a stance and he'll guard, and he is a great, great kid. I mean, great kid.
Brandon Johnson at the line.
You know, Dan, you and I were there for that game where he beat Michigan State at the buzzer. And one point that you made about him right from the start, because he's gotten much better as a shooter. His percentages have gone up. He's a more efficient player and whatnot. But he has never been afraid to take the big shot, ever.
No. In fact, I made a fool of myself. So that's a pretty good quote. Dream is to play in the NBA, but first he needs that national championship. He had the ball at the top of the key, shot clock running down, and instead of driving in, he was pulling up for a three. I said, this won't end well. It ended great as he drilled the three, and he's been doing that ever since.
I wasn't going to bring that part of the whole thing up. I was just going to let that go.
We had a great conversation about it. We were laughing about it. He did a video. He's just a great kid. And, you know, something something happened in the preseason. Miller, the kid who just missed a shot, didn't dive for a loose ball. And DeSumo stopped practice and explained to Miller, look, if you're going to play at Illinois, that man over there, meaning Underwood, is not going to play you. We dive for loose balls here. And this is what I'm talking about with coach-led or player-led teams. That's what you have to have as a player. Sometimes you got to love your team, and I get it. But other times you got to tell them what's up.
Oh, the quickness of Andre Curbelo right to the rim to lay it in.
He's going to be good. He's just too loose with it so far in his career. But that's typical of a freshman who's unafraid.
Cut down the turnovers, make better decisions, and you got yourself a star point guard. Curry had it stripped away. All right, that was a better decision, wasn't it?
Yes. I wanted to see how it ended, and it ended really well for Illinois.
It's never a bad decision to get that guy a shot at the rim. Man, it's Kofi Cockburn dominating inside tonight for the Illini.
Dave, he went, backed up, went against stop, and then made the absolute right decision to the right guy.
Than 15 minutes to go in the second half from Champaign. Tough week for the Illini basketball family. Jimmy Collins, who is a beloved member of the Illinois basketball family, longtime assistant coach for Lou Henson, part of some of the best Illinois basketball teams of all time, passed away on Sunday at the age of 74. A head coach at University of Illinois Chicago as well. Dan, you knew Jimmy Collins, a very popular figure in Champaign and a guy in the basketball world who is really, really going to be missed.
He really is. He was a terrific player for Lou Henson at New Mexico State. And, you know, at Indiana at the time, we were supposed to, you know, be fighting with Illinois, Coach Knight and Lou Henson. And I got to know Jimmy. He just made fun of it, you know, and he was a terrific basketball coach. People thought him initially as a recruiter because he's the guy that recruited the Flying Illini. But I tell you what, his UIC teams went to the tournament 3 or 4 times, and he built something there at UIC. And you see the team that he recruited. He built something at UIC that was a mid-major power and always did it with a sense of humor and style. I heard Stephen Bardo talking about Jimmy Collins, Stephen, one of the players on the Final Four team, and just the love that all those guys have or had for Coach Collins was really touching to hear Stephen talk about. A lot of tears, a lot of laughter in their group text. And to Illinois fans, man, I'm so sorry because Jimmy Collins gone way, way, way too early.
Yeah, you know, the assistant coaches so often don't get the credit that they deserve. And Jimmy was just a huge part of Illinois basketball history. He will be missed.
Yeah, he was respected all over the high school coaches, college coach, didn't matter. Just a terrific guy, really nice, laid back, easy going. And that kid is having himself a night.
My goodness. I mean, he is just unstoppable right now. Coburn's career high is 26. He is on his way. 24 and 7, dominating in the paint on both ends. Committed the foul there.
You know who's doing a great job? Ayo DeSumo on defense. He's really making it hard for Marcus Carr. Robbins got open underneath. And it was kind of a bailout after Marcus Carr did everything he could do to try to get a shot against DeSumo, and that kid is sitting down in the stance, and he is guarding hard today.
I mean, Marcus Carr, he's got 12. He's 2 of 11 from the field. He's having a really tough time. There's that matchup you're talking about. Cockburn out of the game. Robbins goes to work against Bashanishvili. Score the basket with a foul.
Yeah, Bashanishvili did a great job, and man, Williams just didn't see it. He's in help side, and this is the easiest pass to steal. That ball should have been stolen on its flight because Williams was there. He just didn't react, get over, and make the steal. The easiest pass to steal is a post-entry pass to a postman on an angle when you're the help side defender. It is the easiest, and Williams should have had it. He was late, gave up a bucket.
missed the free throw. Minnesota's still down by 15. Georgi Bezhanishvili, his role on this team is a whole lot different this year than it has been in the past, and it's not as significant of a role. It just isn't.
Dave, he went from starting 33 games to 24 last year to now 0 because Kofi Cockburn and the talent around him has improved.
Bezhanishvili, maybe if he were a better shooter, Dan, maybe a better fit with Cockburn, they could play together more at the end of the shot clock. How about that one that goes down?
If he was a better shooter, if he was a stretch 4, he would have a big-time role, Bezhanishvili.
Yeah.
Because he's a terrific defender, a great teammate. Not a good teammate, a great teammate. What do you think, Dave?
Corbello? Yeah, no problem.
6'11" coming at him, right?
Wow.
I swear to you, Dave, it is amazing to me how many times those shots go in for the home team in the Big Ten. Maybe every league. I don't know. I've just been paying attention to Big Ten for 30 years.
Georgie looks a little cranky, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks big. I tell you what, he's worked hard. But you just have to shoot it if you're going to play with Cockburn, because Coburn's not going outside if you're going to be a 4-man. That's
Robbins knocked his man down. Yeah, that's an easy call.
That's where Robbins didn't do what Coburn's been doing, which is take his time against a smaller guy, and that's 4 on Robbins. He didn't take his time, Dave. He just barrels into him.
Well, you pointed it out so many times in this game where Cockburn's so good at that. He's not in a rush. He takes his time, and even though he's massive, Kofi Cockburn, he avoids most of those offensive fouls. Now Bezhanishvili back to the bench after a really, I think, frustrating couple minutes. Cockburn back in. Corbello got lucky that wasn't a turnover. Cockburn.
I love it, man. I just love big guys that want to dunk everything. Dunk on the entire state of Minnesota if you can. I mean, he gets fouled early here. Watch. A bad kind of a drive, but the ball finds Cockburn. He gets fouled there, and watch this.
Yeah, let me just keep trying.
Not? Yeah.
Well, think about it. If he still is having a problem at the free throw line. 6 of 11. That one didn't look good. Okay, we found something that he can improve on.
Well, he's got a lot, actually. You know, he's going to have to hit a jump shot, a little pick and pop. He's going to have to do that at the next level. He's going to have to make free throws. There's no question about it. I think he's a decent passer out of the post. He's not really asked to. Teams don't double him, but he's going to have to be able to do that as the season goes on as well.
More games like this, he's going to be seeing more double teams.
I think he's a first-round pick. I thought he was a first-round pick if he'd have gone this year. I'm glad he didn't.
Long 3, too strong. That was Mashburn. Rebound. Cockburn, another one. Dosunmu pulls up. It's been an off night offensively for Ayo Dosunmu, coming off his 36-point game against Missouri. Has not mattered.
Nope. Minnesota out of sync. I mean, Mashburn's the guard. He was making a hook pass for some reason to the top of the key and walked with it.
Mashburn in, Trey Williams in. Marcus Carr still on the floor. Booth Gotch nowhere to be seen. Dosunmu.
Well, you'd like to see Minnesota reverse the ball a little bit. There's foul inside on the freshman, but the ball gets stuck in each guy's hands. You know, let's just pay attention to see if the ball goes right to left, left to right, and then maybe to the middle. They're 1 for their last 15 from 3. Seems like most have been contested.
Johnson to the line, shooting 1-1.
The ball reversal is important because it makes the defense move. And guess what? When players have to move, they make mistakes. They make mistakes in how they recover, so you can drive a recovery. They make mistakes in being slow to get out to contest a shot. They make mistakes in help side defense on a post, but if you just keep it on a side, which is what Minnesota's done, the defense, gets locked into that side.
Well, that doesn't happen very often. Cockburn had it taken away. He grabs the rebound. Minnesota missed it anyway. Well, that's a good point. Let's watch that when Minnesota has the ball. Yeah, Gophers just can't make a three. One thing also to watch, Illinois' got Bashanishvili and Cockburn in at the same time, and it doesn't matter who's in alongside Cockburn. You lob it up at the rim, he's finishing. Period.
All right, ball's on the right. Dribble. Stop.
Well, it ended up on the other side. I don't know if that counts.
It doesn't. No, that doesn't.
Does.
This possession does not count. That is bailed out.
Yeah. Corbello committed the foul, so that'll put Jamal Mashburn Jr. at the free throw line. Kofi Cockburn having a career night for the 13th ranked team in the country, playing like the best big man in the country, or certainly one of them. It's been all Kofi Cockburn for Illinois.
Casual, flip it behind you. What are you doing? There's a defender right there. Here's a jump pass across the lane. Oh, let's throw another jump pass with an arc on it. What are you doing? Here's another play. We're just going to fall out of bounds, drive it, get it knocked away when you're a big guy. I'm telling you, it's one of the great sayings in coaching. Usually there's two words in the middle of it. What are you doing? What the are you doing?
Two, yeah, I was thinking just one, but okay, now I see what you mean by two. You could slip a small one in there too.
Yeah, there's one in there. Telling you, turnovers are one thing, but when you're throwing passes with a hump on it across the court, or you're drop passing it, and a defender behind you can make a steal, that's just a lack of concentration. It just is, and that's what Minnesota has had tonight.
Sumu, no on the three, and somehow Bashanishvili just kind of knocked that one in.
Just went over went over two Gophers.
I mean, aside from
let's see if the ball gets reversed, Dave.
Okay, let's watch. I don't see it happening.
Nope.
But basket and a foul.
There you go. It worked out one time. I love this kid. I think this kid plays hard. He played for a great coach in Steve Hawkins at Western Michigan. Took Western Michigan to a tournament a number of times. You see, Bashanishvili slow to get over, and the freshman Hawkins just gets whipped by the veteran Johnson. That's a good move. I think this kid's going to help Minnesota as we move through. Steve Hawkins, well, they fired him at Western Michigan, but you look up his record and what he did in Kalamazoo is absolutely terrific. Great coach.
So the three-point play for Brandon Johnson. Grad transfer. Booth Gotch back on the floor. And finally, some shots for a minute. The Gophers haven't taken care of the ball very well. They haven't moved the ball very well. They're not making shots. Otherwise, things are going great for Minnesota in this game. Bashanishvili had his shot rejected.
That was really good by Curry. He forced Bashanishvili to his left shoulder. Bashanishvili is a left-handed player. Left shoulder is his weak shoulder, and then he just swatted it into what used to be the band, I think.
The cardboard band this year. Andre Corbello, pull up, good.
Kid's electric. He is electric. And again, between he and Frazier, those two guys are going to provide offense when teams load up against Cockburn and try to load up against Asumu. Look at this offense.
Yeah, Adam Miller, you're right. I mean, there's just not a lot of good on this end of the floor for Minnesota. Not a lot of passing, ball movement. Dosunmu, as the Gophers went for the steal, so Dosunmu will drive it in and score.
Little Euro step, then split two guys. Keep his chin on the rim.
Curry over top of Bashanishvili.
Yeah, Bashanishvili just gave ground, and Curry turned, and there was no resistance above Bashanishvili's shoulder. Good move, Eric Curry.
Still almost 10 minutes to go in this game. Illinois was down early, and they have dominated since. A little shot fake from Hawkins.
I swear a couple years ago my son showed me this Euro step, Dave. I want your opinion. Is this a travel?
All right, let me watch. I don't think that is a travel.
I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know. But this is pretty good defense. This is first team All-American, averaging 24, 25 points a game, and he's there all day, and then he gets up and influences the shot. That's how you play, kids. You average 24, that's great. How about you go get in the stance, you rebound, you assist, you hustle off the floor.
What's the point you made about if you're going to take a young player in practice before the season starts and say that's not how we play here? You got to live up to that yourself. You got to do it, and he does.
That's a great point, Dave. Look, fans don't see frauds. You know, fans want to love their team. Players know frauds. And if you're trying to tell me as your teammate to dive on the floor, but I don't see you diving, or I know it's fake from you, those words are hollow. That kid right there is nothing fake about Ayo Dosunmu.
In Illinois with a 66-43 lead when we're finished. #1 Stanford on the women's side with Tara Vanderveer going for the all-time wins record as a head coach in the women's game. That's when we are finished from Champaign, Illinois. Fast break. Curbelo, who might be the fastest guy on the floor. He found his fellow freshman Miller for three.
You said it, he is the fastest guy on the floor. Curbelo is a guy that, hey, right, wrong, happy or sad, he's trying to make a play.
I think Andre Curbelo is going to be great. And look, Adam Miller, he's played okay, but Illinois has got some upside if he starts making shots like that. They're already pretty dang good.
Got to throw that inside.
Yeah. Curbelo's missed him a couple times. Curbelo that time flung it out to Frazier, who heaves one up, and it goes in.
Right corner.
He loves that side of the floor.
He does. It's a layup.
Gosh, Illinois, I mean, you would not have seen this coming if you watched the first 6 minutes of this game. Robbins with the left hand.
Timeout, Minnesota.
And Minnesota calls a timeout. So Richard Pitino trying to find some positives here tonight on the road to the Big Ten opener for Illinois and the Gophers.
Incredible teacher, incredible coach, incredible accomplishment.
Stanford Pacific comes your way in about 16 minutes here on ESPN2. For now, back to Champaign. Dave and Dan.
Tied with a true legend, Pat Summitt, 1,098 career wins. Tara Vanderveer, turnover out of the timeout for the Illini. Minnesota pull up three. Cockburn tried to wrestle the ball, and Isaiah Enan himself away from Minnesota. I mean, Cockburn was trying to pick them both up at the same time.
Tara Vanderveer, a product of the Harvard of the Midwest, Indiana, the Indiana University, where the great ones have been known to go. I'm just so happy for her. Her story is great. Fantastic player at Indiana. I said this earlier. She just sent her resume, wanted to coach, sent her resume all across the country. The Ohio State coach remembered her, hired her. She went out to Idaho. I mean, and she is dynamite, absolutely dynamite.
Booth Gotch still hasn't scored. Robbins missed the layup. That's sort of emblematic of how the whole game has gone for Minnesota. Sumu found Miller. That's a pure stroke from the freshman.
If you don't bring it in the Big Ten, you're going to have nights like Gotch. Gotch did not come ready. He came to play a game, not compete in a game. There you go.
That could be huge. I mean, not in this game. Minnesota's not going to win this game, but Gabe Kalsher needs some confidence from the outside. So for him to see one go through, that's big for him.
I agree. He does. He's not a 16% three-point shooter. He's just not. He's a 45 on good shots, 50% three-point shooter. And that was a good shot. Good to see it go in.
Here's Adam Miller. Shot clock winding down, and I don't think he got the shot off. He didn't.
Oh. Illinois adopted the Minnesota offense right there.
And we saw how well that worked out. Tomorrow, TCU, Oklahoma State, Brad Underwood. Just love that last possession. 7 Eastern tomorrow is the Big 12 gets its season started. And then at 9 Eastern, number 21, Duke against Notre Dame. Notre Dame beat Kentucky this last weekend. So a doubleheader as the ACC and the Big 12 start their conference play. Just like the Big 10 is beginning tonight for Minnesota and Illinois.
Good to see Duke back in business. Going to be interesting. Notre Dame coming off a big win. And Notre Dame, Cormac Ryan can get hot. But Notre Dame is so short-handed. Prentice Hub is really good. You're going to love Prentice Hub. He made the big shots down the stretch to beat Kentucky after they blew the 20-some point lead. But Duke without Jalen Johnson, man, that's a big blow. You're talking about a kid that's going to go in the first round of the draft. He's out with a foot. So opportunity for Notre Dame, quite frankly.
That would be back-to-back pretty good wins for the Irish if they could get them. I mean, so many people right now, and rightfully so, are focused on the football side for Notre Dame with another huge game coming up this weekend.
Dave, I wonder if that would be the regular season most McDonald's All-Americans beat.
In back-to-back games.
Yeah. I mean, like if you could be a 2-star recruit, but if you commit to Duke, everybody immediately says you're a 5-star recruit. All these gurus. So
Miller made the 3. Steele. Williams had his shot blocked. That was good hustle from Enan. Marcus Carr still not scored in the second half?
No, and I'll tell you what, Dosunmu has been absolutely dominant defensively.
Yeah, really impressive.
In Carr's defense, Dave, there's literally nothing run for him. I mean, he has to dribble it until it dies, get a ball screen, dribble it again, and he doesn't come off any screens, and it's not his fault. I mean, that's the setup, and it's worked because they're undefeated and he scored a ton. But in this game against this setup with Brad Underwood having a few days, it just hasn't gone for the kid.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe, next game, next week, whenever Gotch makes some shots, Kalsher makes some threes, maybe it softens up. But it could be that Minnesota's going to have to rethink how they're going to get Marcus Carr some better opportunities.
Shooting is like your 8th grade boy-girl party, Dave. Everybody, the boys stand on one side, the girls stand on the other. One guy starts dancing with a girl. The next thing you know, everybody starts dancing. One guy starts making threes. Everybody starts making threes, Big D. That's true.
So what an analogy. Cockburn hits another shot. He's had a career night. He's dancing to his own beat tonight, 29-12 for Kofi Cockburn.
You know that Georgie Bashanesvili is a national champion dancer.
He's a legitimate great dancer.
Yeah, ballroom dancer.
There's always that one kid, if you're going to use the 8th grade analogy, there's always the one kid who's willing to just go first and go out there. That's
what
Georgie.
I'm saying. Yeah,
that was
absolutely. Georgie was such a good dancer. Everybody, I was told this. Like, when he was a kid and danced, girls were afraid to dance with him because he was too good.
Yeah, he made him look bad.
Yeah, he was that.
Wasn't Molly McGrath with us one game and Georgie showed off some moves to Molly and yeah.
Molly wasn't afraid.
Nope. Somehow you and I haven't followed that.
I stood in the corner.
We were on the sidelines. Marcus Carr draws a foul.
I tell you what, 1977, his hair was flowing and the zits were popping.
America would love to know 8th grade Dan Dockich.
I was something.
Well, there's the first point of the second half for Marcus Carr.
Yeah, and this is important, that, okay, you're down 30. You've had your brains beat out. It's going to happen on the road in the Big Ten. It just is. And so now you want to finish this last 5 minutes. Let's see the ball go in for a few of these guys. I would love to see Booth Gotch get a couple of baskets. So at least he's not sitting there thinking about, man, I couldn't get a bucket in the Big Ten. You want to see a kid end this game well. if you're Minnesota fan, or even us. You hate to see a kid struggle like this.
Corbello dishes to Cockburn, and he dunks right on top of Robbins. My goodness. He has just abused Minnesota tonight. 31-13 for big Kofi Cockburn.
What are we doing here?
Robbins is going to hoist one up. Foul against the Illini.
Keep saying it, Dave. Young, big kids. I don't care if you can't dunk and you're in 8th grade. Best jump. Best jump gets you and ones and gets you buckets. And then you can go to the party and dance.
Pop all the zits you want at that point.
Hey, let's be honest. You know, you're in high school, grade school. You go to McDonald's after a game. No one's asking you who'd you guard. No one's asking you how many assists you had. They're asking you how many did you have, how many points. So, best jump around the basket. If you're going to the rim, best jump going to the rim. Put your hands on the backboard. If you're a big guy and you can dunk, try to dunk everything.
I mean, poor Booth Gotch. He still hasn't scored. He's at the free throw line. He missed his first free throw. All right, he's got a point.
Now, you hate to see a kid struggle, but I'm telling you, Big Ten coaching, I've said this forever. I became the head coach at West Virginia, and I stayed there a week, but I went on a recruiting trip, and I was with a couple assistants, one from Syracuse, one from Villanova, and we were on a plane. They're like, hey, Dan, you know, you're going to run that motion? I said, yeah. They go, well, you're going to see a lot of zone, because at that time, the Big East didn't scout that great. And the Big Ten has always been considered the best scouted league in college basketball. Going back to 08, I asked those same assistants now, and they say, yeah, Dan, it's still, the Big Ten is the best scouted league. So you have to bring it every single night if you're Booth Gotch, and you got to be ready for it, and you got to have moves that maybe somebody hasn't seen.
Checking in from Minnesota.
Robbins is fouled out. He did some good things when he was on the floor. I mean, Liam Robbins, a talented guy. He's taken a big leap up himself in competition. He was at Drake, and now he's playing in the Big Ten.
The game changed when he went out, right? I mean, he hit a couple threes. He was good defensively.
Add to Kofi Cockburn's career night. He's got 32. We still got 4 minutes to talk about this, Dan, but I mean, for Minnesota, trying to find some positives here. They get St. Louis, their last non-conference game next. So one quick non-conference game. Then they get Iowa, top 5 team, Michigan State, top 5 team, at Wisconsin, top 15 team, Ohio State, at Michigan, at Iowa. I mean, where's Minnesota going to find a win?
The St. Louis team on the world's greatest podcast, Seth Greenberg and I, Seth talked about that St. Louis team. I mean, grown men, like big dudes, experienced dudes. This Big Ten is insanely good every night. And man, I wish we had fans in these buildings, because this would be absolutely electric.
Be such a year for that. I'm with you, because we're going to have, I mean, every week there are going to be 2, 3, 5 head-to-head matchups. Every week in this league they're going to be top 10, top 15 kind of games. Yep, that's all we got for now. We can only hope. 3:39 to go from Champaign. Illini up. Tara Vanderveer tonight is, let's just say it, she's going to become the all-time winning coach in the history of women's college basketball. She and #1 Stanford. They don't even have a home. I mean, talk about missing fans. I feel for Tara. Tonight should be a home game. It should be a celebration in front of a big crowd of her great career. She will get that celebration ultimately. And Tara probably doesn't care a lick that she's not getting the accolades tonight in person that she has earned. But she is going to pass Pat Summitt tonight, almost certainly, against UOP. And that game will follow us. Beth Mowins, Debbie Antonelli, 2 of my favorites, are standing by, getting ready for history tonight.
I love this stuff. Okay, I love historical moments, and I'm going to watch. I think it's going to be Absolutely fascinating to watch a lady that was a terrific player at the Harvard of the Midwest, Indiana. And you know what? Has developed Stanford into, right now, the #1 program in the country. And she has done it with class. She's never, ever brought attention to herself, ever, in no way, shape, or form, other than by winning. Whether it's gold medals or championships, man, I think it's absolutely great. It's going to be a fun watch. Oh, nice pass.
That game, by the way, Dan, that we're talking about, that was good. That deserved a little celebration. That game is starting on ESPN News while this one wraps up, and then it'll shift over here to ESPN2 as soon as we are done. So if you're looking for that game, the first few seconds, first few moments of that game will be on ESPN News, and then we'll pick up coverage of Tara and Stanford against Pacific. And we're
Another
in the Big Ten. Having another one. Why not?
Man, Hamlin is just dunking all over Minnesota. Eric Curry keeps lunging through the passing lane. That's a pretty good couple minutes for a kid coming into the game. 4 points in like 30 seconds, both on dunks.
I would say Jermaine Hamlin.
Man, watch this. Don't lunge in the passing lane. Oh, don't. And then Kobe Cockburn, look at him. See, they can dance.
He knows the feeling.
He does. Yes, he does. Yes.
You know, Cockburn has been the #1 reason why, but Illinois has just bullied Minnesota around the rim in this game tonight. For the Golden Gophers, we know how tough it's going to be in this rugged conference, but they're going to have to find a way to give some resistance in the paint. Otherwise, it's going to be a long year for Richard Pitino's team.
46-14. Eric gives it to us, our stats guy extraordinaire. Why is Seth Greenberg calling me right now?
He knows you're on television. Does he think you're going to pick up? I mean, he's in studio. He knows you're live.
I just got a call.
You think that was just a pocket dial?
I don't know. No.
That's my guy. Tighten it up. 90-54 with 2:41 to go. Marcus Carr's had better games. He, on the other hand, number 21 for Illinois, has never had a better game than this one tonight. He's had a lot of good ones.
You know, you mentioned the bigs, Trace Jackson Davis, Luka Garza, player of the year in the country, right? I mean, you know who's really good? Their bigs have really developed. The Marble kid at Michigan State and Bingham at Michigan State. I was talking to Tom Izzo today, and he's got a lot of guys that he can play. Those two bigs are you can throw some bigs. Joey, I always get the Hausers mixed up, but the Hauser kid for Michigan State's a walking double-double. I mean, this league has some really, really nice bigs in it.
And last year, so many, and even though a bunch of those, Xavier Tillman and Caleb Wesson, among others, have moved on. I mean, there's no league in the country that can match the Big Ten in terms of quality big guys.
No, Ohio State, Jeb Key is a freshman. He's going to be dynamite. I hope E.J. Liddell gets better. E.J. Liddell was absolute dynamite in the second half against Notre Dame for Ohio State. He's their best player. He's got mono. He's out. They say he's progressing, but this league is just loaded for bear. And
are you on the record? Did you have is there a favorite right now, do you think?
Well, what I've seen, I think Iowa and Michigan State are two of the best. And, we haven't even talked about the Reavers kid at Wisconsin who just broke the all-time shot blocking record. I don't know. I think Kaminsky or Butch had it. I'm not sure which one, but he just broke that record. Brad Davison's been flopping for 4 years. He's there. Trice is a terrific guard. There's an experienced group right there. We haven't really even talked about Wisconsin.
Yep.
I like Brad Davison, by the way.
I know you're going to get Minnesota or Wisconsin fans yelling at you for that comment, but I know you like him.
Oh, I love the kid. I had a great time with he and his dad in the Bahamas a couple years ago. I love the kid. He takes more charges and catches more grief. He does flop once in a while. All right, who doesn't?
Gophers needed a whole lot more of that tonight. Trey Williams.
That meant a little bit to some people.
Sure, it did. Rarely does a basket go unnoticed.
Particularly late.
By some.
That safety last night didn't go unnoticed.
Oh
in the Monday Night Football
that's
game.
The worst one of all time, maybe. All right, well, as we speak, we mentioned how over on news you can see this game as it begins with full broadcast, but we'll show you the start from Stockton, California, where Stanford and Pacific are underway. And tonight will be a night almost certainly for history. Tara Vanderveer and #1 Stanford. Tara's got a chance to pass the great Pat Summitt tonight. All-time wins on the women's side.
You know, I just think anytime you do something like that, you got to celebrate it, man. I mean, that is just being so good for so long. And I admire people that do it without fanfare, that just, you know what, she's a coach, players love her, she's influenced so many lives, won championships. I think it's great, and I hope everybody tunes in. If you can't, you know, if you got to go somewhere after this game, at least tune in for the second half to celebrate one of the great accomplishments in college sports.
And I would also say this. Think about all the great players. I mean, going back to the Jennifer Azzi days that Tara has coached at Stanford, this might be one of her all-time most talented teams. I mean, they are loaded. Loaded. So you want to see a good team play with a great all-time coach? Tonight's your night. All right, by the way, speaking of some great players and all kinds of stuff this weekend, it's Championship Saturday on the college football side, and especially on ABC. Big 12 gets it started, Oklahoma, Iowa State. That's at noon at 4 Eastern. Clemson, Notre Dame. Can't wait to watch that game. Maybe both teams will end up in the playoff, but that's not an absolute done deal. The American with Cincinnati, can they make an argument at the end of the day on ABC? And then the college football playoff selection show, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Sunday on ESPN.
Nice.
Back to a move.
Yeah, but the disrespect to Indiana still chafes me. I mean, look, in my view, the Final Four should right now be Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, and the winner of Notre Dame and Clemson. I'm not putting a two-loss Clemson team in, and if Notre Dame loses, I'm not putting them in. Indiana deserves to go in my world. It's a weird world.
Many of us wish we could just live in your world for a moment, just see what that feels like.
Hey, last thing, such great news about Keontae Johnson from Florida. So excited that he spoke with his Gators teammates. He's now in stable condition, out of critical condition. Thank goodness, Keontae Johnson out of critical condition. Hope he's back with the Gators soon.
I'm glad you said that. The final horn sounds. Illinois puts the finishing touches on a 92-65 dominant win for Brad Underwood and his team. For Dan Dockich, Dave Fleming saying so long from Champaign. Now we'll take you out to Debbie Antonelli and Beth Bowens for some history tonight.